Welcome to the Emerging Startup Series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Innovation, Energy, and Purpose through Engineering. We are with us Nishant Arora, founder, Foreign EcoTech. From building financial products to building a cleaner planet, Nishant's journey is anything but conventional. An engineer, entrepreneur, author, and sustainability crusader, Nishant was former vice president of Association of Energy Engineering, Northern California, and independent director. Whether it's mentoring startups, writing, or corporate governance, or spearheading energy efficiency solutions across continents, he brings systems thinking, heart, and a visionary approach to everything he touches, and he's more passionate about the sustainability projects. So, in this episode, we uncover the mind behind the mission, his work, his values, and the legacy he is creating for a clean environment and a sustainable one. So, welcome, Nishan, to today's coffee conversation.
Thanks, Amir. Thanks for having me.
So, let me explain you the flow and the format. There are three rounds: professional journey, personal journey, and a surprise, the rapid fire, where you will be in the hot seat. You have to be witty, fun, and quick. And here's a gift, your niche marketing, which will be autographed. So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal startup SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So, let's start your present journey. What's the story behind naming of your startup for an EcoTech, and what were the challenges did you face while building in the energy efficiency space?
Great. That's a great question, Amir. Foreign stands for fourth dimension. So,
Mhm.
there is a very linear thinking we have, we have to make profits. But sustainability, it says, it's people, planet, profit. So those are three dimensions which are there, and the fourth dimension of time. So we want to take care of people, planet, and profit and be sustainable in the long run. And that's where, fourth dimension arrived.
Challenges.
Okay. The
What
challenges
challenge did
which
you face while building in the energy efficiency space?
The challenges we have faced up until now is basically with attrition. I would say that is one of the biggest challenge which has been there. Although, there has been challenge with training, upskilling folks. So I usually have been hiring a blend of both freshers as well as experienced professionals. And I think training is another gap which is there. So graduating students, they it's nice if they can do some internships before they can actually join a serious job. So I look forward to students or youngsters who have done some internships before joining us.
Uh, So let's dive deep into conversation. How do you balance innovation with compliance, especially the energy sector is heavily regulated?
So that's actually an important question because without compliance, no work can go forward. So it's business, policy, and technology. That's the balance again we have to match all the time. So sometimes it's technology which is taking forefront, like we see today in AI, and the rules are coming after that. And in other cases, for example, adoption of sustainability, it's the rules which are there, and they are pushing the technology and the business ahead. Without those rules, say compliance of say the RPO requirements which are there, those won't happen. So I think it's a fine balance, and it's with experience. I guess it comes.
Wow. So let's go to your earlier startup, Viola, where from your idea stage to raising 43 million or revenue, what were the key decisions that fueled that scale?
Right. So I was part of this company called Innovity. So that was the original startup which was there, which was later on purchased by Veolia. So, as part of that company, that journey from 0 to 43 million in revenues, what we kind of found as a sweet spot is being able to scale every time. So, simple formula is you build upon your previous success and try to build a bigger success after that. It's like a domino effect in a way. So the first building which we did energy efficiency was 25,000 square feet. And the last project which I did was over 2 million square feet. So do a good job every time, learn from every experience, work hard, and build a very strong team. So that's what is the success formula.
Wow. So, Nishant, what was the moment that sparked your shift towards sustainability and clean tech?
So this again is a question very close to my heart. So back in 2008, I was very happy in a fintech job at Tata Consultancy Services Limited. So in that job, like we on one side were getting an accolade from a global top 50 uh, bank CEO that our software platform was the only one which was functional during a market meltdown. And it would have been a very proud moment. But I faced a near-death experience. And when I was 2 months on the bed, it was, realization after, reading Hot, Flat, and Crowded by Thomas Friedman and watching The Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. So in 2008, this particular thing, it pushed me from fintech to sustainability. So I was very clear in my mind in those 2 months that this is what I want to do. So that decision making took some time, but I finally did take that plunge in 2010. And since then, I have ever been, working only on sustainability based projects.
Wow, beautiful. So, Nishant, what do you think is the biggest myth about entrepreneurship in the sustainability space?
So the biggest myth in one single sentence, if I could, uh, entrepreneurship is easy. And second thing, sustainability is easy. Both are not. So keeping that balance of people, planet, profit, that itself for sustainability is hard. And entrepreneurship, it requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of, hard work, and it requires a lot of, skill. So the combination of these three and the challenges of sustainability, those three are, something which, people take lightly. And I myself have failed 3 times. So I must say that, who better, than somebody like myself to share this. So it won't be easy, but you have to build your tribe. You have to build people, who believe in you, and you support them and they support you back. That's how you build one step at a time, and that's how you build that ladder to success.
Wow. So, Nishant, you were the former vice president of American Energy Engineering. Can you tell us briefly, our viewers, okay, what is this association all about?
Yeah, so as the former vice president of Association of Energy Engineers, so it is basically into giving back to the society. So we as a mission are there for education of the people in the industry, the energy industry, and also like finding budding talent in that space. So we give out scholarships. We also conduct monthly webinars, and overall we support people in the industry by acknowledging them. So we give out awards as well. So those are basically the three pillars on which the association actually is there. We also have some certifications which the organization does, and those are uh, world renowned, and yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's go to your next hat, working hat. That is you are publishing a book on corporate governance. So, how did this come about, and why did you felt the need for bringing a book on corporate governance?
So it is said that the best way to learn something is by, writing about it. I think 3 years back, I was interested in this particular space, but I knew nothing. So that's when I decided to write a book. I and a few others, like as part of a cohort. So four of us actually started writing a book. I'm the youngest in the group. And we all have been doing some research and working towards publishing this book on corporate governance. And the Byju's fall, which had happened, that was something which was very interesting to me. That, because of corporate governance issues, a startup could fail. So I've been somebody who has been really interested in the startup space, and this was the reason, I was particularly interested in corporate governance.
Wow. So, how do you see transparency related to corporate governance for startups?
Well, till a few years back, corporate governance and startup related corporate governance was not a thing. So 2 years back, like we had something called as the Startup Mahakumbh, and there was also a startup conclave which was conducted by IICA. So those two events that happened in New Delhi, one of them at Bharat Mandapam. So they were kind of the catalyst to bring to forefront the transparency in startups, and also the Byju's incident that happened. It was something which was a catalyst, and now I do feel that whenever uh, a company is investing in a startup, it's the fiduciary duty of the founders to ensure that there are independent directors who are making sure that things are on track. Somebody like outside your organization, but yet looking into the best interest of the company. So somebody who is more experienced than yourself. So I'm a very firm believer of having independent directors and somebody within that space overlooking what you are doing.
Wow. So, now let's come to your uh, next hat, being an independent director. How does this come about, and what is the role of an independent director for viewers out there to understand?
Yeah, thanks for that. So I'm a independent director at the Koffee Sustainability Private Limited. So yeah, so we actually have monthly board meetings, and within which we ensure that the young CEO, who is a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, he is actually groomed towards what a CEO should really be doing. So that is one part which I'm playing, which maybe the traditional independent directors are not doing. So this is something which only in a startup maybe an independent director would be doing. But as far as making sure financials are covered properly, you have a CA who is taking care of the GST. So there are small compliances which are there, which can be very easily overlooked. But making sure that focus is also on there apart from building the product. So, making, youngster, realize that, why this can be a problem, and ensuring, with certain cases which every now and then come up, that, something like this could happen. The Gen Soul happened because, some, financial irregularities. So don't end up doing this. So, having that conversation, that also helps. So this is something which maybe I'm going above and beyond. Typically, the role requires you to be, discussing this in the board meeting, having the KMPs. And in this case, the KMPs are the two founders and myself, the director. So it's a very small team. Uh, so yeah, it's coming up as the team grows. Now we are 6 people. So as the team grows, more of this will be required, and I think this is the right way forward. He has in me plugged in at a very early stage, and he's making sure that I'm setting him up for success. And in a way, this experience is helping me, set myself up for success as well.
Wow. Okay. So let's go to uh, you did recent in the some time back. You did a panel discussion on our power, our planet. How did this panel discussion come about, and what were the key learnings?
Great. So that's a question again, very close to my heart. So I got in touch with Sasiani. So it's a South Asian network of energy, environmental education. So this is part of the Center for Environment Education. So back when I was a 19-year-old, I used to go for tree plantation drives. And one of the senior members who used to mentor us, she now is a director at Center for Environment Education. She had reached out to me saying that, we are in the same space and you are in the energy domain. Why don't you be a moderator at one of these events? So there were panelists from India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. So I guess this was something which needed to be moderated, and some good questions had come up, and we had a very fruitful discussion.
Wow. So, Nishant, you often talk about systems thinking.
Right.
Can you break that down for a startup founder?
Right. So systems thinking is, I would say, like the most fundamental, most important thing which any startup founder, any product manager, any leader in a company should think about. So there are, various moving parts which are there. And, as a leader, maybe you are the CEO of the company, you should be able to see the interactive effects of each moving part on another one. So if you are making a change, is there an impact analysis? Being able to see the impact, being able to visually be able to see, right? So putting systems in place is one thing, but making sure that the interaction between the systems is working well is what is systems thinking. And it's just, playing the few pieces of chess before the next step you take. So it's something which is very important. And I would very firmly, tell each one out there that you maybe, try reading more about this topic.
Wow. So, Nishant, how do you stay up to date with emerging trends in clean tech, clean energy, sustainability, and how much of your decision making is data driven versus intuition?
So I think I'll answer your second question first. So so how I do it is I keep the numbers very close to me. So I have all the numbers on the tips of my tongue. That's how it should be. And then it's, all about intuition with those numbers. How those numbers would play in a certain situation, or how, certain factors would play on the numbers is something which, one has to think real time. So I would say I'm a very intuitive leader than a very numbers driven leader. If I don't have the numbers, I won't take a good decision. But if I do have the numbers and I'm not intuitive, I again would not be able to, perform well. So it's a combination of both, and one feeds to another, if that answers your question.
Wow. So, Nishant, who has influenced you from the startup world, who are in the energy space and the sustainability space?
So one of my gurus, I would say, is Amory Lovins. So he's the founder of Rocky Mountain Foundation. So RMI, which is there, Rocky Mountain Institute, which is there. So it is based out of Colorado, and I had that, wonderful experience of meeting him in person. So he definitely has been and still is today, to date, my guru, and he's a world-class leader in energy efficiency and sustainability. He started RMI in 1980. So it continues from so long ago.
Wow. So my last question for your professional journey round, how important is it to blend global exposure with local relevance for a startup founder?
So I would say like it depends on the startup journey where somebody's at. So for founders who are say in their early 20s, mid 20s, thinking about global, and not focusing on the local, that could be, really, I would say, a very tricky, very risky kind of a thing. So I would say like everybody needs to start small and then grow big, and that's what every seed starts. So I failed three times. I had a success for the fourth time before I started up again the fifth time, right? So it's a process, it's a journey. And I would say that as youngsters, probably being local is the best approach, and then slowly becoming global. But if you are a founder who is in a later age, maybe in your 40s, I would very firmly say that you should not begin with the global approach not in mind. The global and the local approach should be very, very clear. In fact, maybe you could even begin your business somewhere out there. You could be making a product or a service for maybe Singapore, maybe the US, maybe somewhere else. And then that actually helps with, earning revenues for the country.
Wow. So let's go to the next round and understand Nishant as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Sorry. I was born in Trivandrum, Kerala, and brought up in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So I was, part of a very happy middle class family and a good upbringing where my parents, strive to send us to the best school and college. And my father always fostered that nature of curiosity. And like my mother always fostered that nature of caring. And my grandfather fostered that thing of leadership. So those three people, like kind of were kind of the pillars of my upbringing, and my formative years, if I could say, like my interest in energy was based on one of the fun books I read. So back in 1930s, there was this book called as Jakob Perlman's Physics with Entertainment, and in particularly the perpetual motion machines is what interested me in energy. And till date, I would say that if anybody is interested in physics, this book will definitely foster them. So if you want to catch them young, I would strongly recommend this book.
Wow.
Um,
Okay, my next question. What made you go to University of Colorado and how did it shape your perspective for your future journey?
Great. So as I saw my first startup in the construction domain, in sustainable construction, I felt it was not going anywhere. So that's where I kind of, decided that, I need to upskill myself and go to University of Colorado Boulder. Professor Paul Comer over there was part of the IPCC panel, which got Nobel Peace Prize. And I had very firm interest in moving to the energy domain and the building energy efficiency space. And through this program, I thought this would be the right stepping stone.
Wow. So, Nishant, how do you unwind when you're not thinking about clean energy, sustainability in construction, or business models?
Yeah, so being out in the greens and the woods, that is something which really recharges me. But a typical weekend, I don't have one. I keep working 7 days a week and take a break when I need to, and generally take time off and try to spend it with the family or friends. And say, for example, when I was in Sacramento, I was, volunteering with Sacramento Tree Foundation so that I could be there in the woods and do some tree plantation. So that's kind of my favorite time pass.
Wow. So, what's one hobby or activity you've always wanted to pursue but haven't gotten around?
I can clearly say I wanted to learn the guitar. I bought a guitar with my first salary at TCS. I bought a guitar here in Bangalore as well when I started for an EcoTech. I also bought a guitar once in when I was in Colorado. Every time I started but couldn't finish. So that is one thing which is pending on my list, and I
Wow.
think I'll complete it someday.
So, any traditions or rituals that your family follows that are close to your heart?
I think the family which eats together stays together. So I think that is one tradition I would say every family could follow, and we certainly try and do that. We have our one meal together, at least a dinner together.
Wow. So, which is your favorite city? As you have stayed in so many cities and worked, so which is your favorite city and why?
Interesting. So Boulder, Colorado was one of my favorite cities because it was extremely green. There was a small rivulet which came out from the mountains, and the mountains were really close. I could cycle and go to the mountains, 10 minutes away. So beautiful sunrises, beautiful sunsets, a lot of snow in winter, and perfect weather in summer. So I think Boulder was the place which I love the most.
Wow. So, if your friends had to describe you in three words, what would it be?
So if they were to describe me, like one of the words somebody used was decent.
Hmm.
Another word they would say is hardworking. And I would also probably like to add, maybe somebody might add leadership over there.
Wow. So, who's been your biggest cheerleader from your family and friends?
So I would say that my biggest cheerleader was my mother. Uh, and there have been instances where like I would want to mention over here. After my third failed startup, which was soon after graduation with my MBA, I had $7 left in my bank account, and she supported me and cheered me in that journey. So I'm really indebted to my mother, who gave great values to me. So thanks to her.
Wow. So, what are your plans for 2025 personally and professionally?
So personally, like there are some changes happening. So in 2025, in August, I'm getting married. So I met a beautiful person, Neha Khaneja. So I'm marrying her. Professionally, in 2025, we'll be releasing two software products. So we already released one product, which is the world's most carbon efficient QR code generator. But we also have two other products which are lined up to be released this year.
Wow. So, my last question is a googly one. Describe Nishant in one line.
So if I was to define Nishant in one line, I would mention he was or he is somebody who always thought of how deep an impression in the sands of time he left. And when he's gone, a part of him remained.
Wow. So, let's put you in the hot seat, the rapid fire round, your go to comfort food.
My go-to comfort food would be these days avocado sandwiches.
Wow.
It keeps changing.
Favorite color?
Sky blue.
Books or podcast?
Sorry.
Books or podcast?
Podcasts.
Innovation or execution?
Both
Wow. Uh, a book that changed your perspective recently.
recently. Well, I'll tell about a book which changed my entire outlook, which was Hot, Flat, and Crowded by Thomas Friedman.
Wow. Best piece of advice received.
Best advice received. I've had many advisors, let's say. That's a tough one. Um, so the best advice I've received is believe in yourself.
Wow. Solo travel or group adventures?
Both.
One green habit you wish everyone would adopt starting tomorrow.
I wish everybody could save the seeds they have. I've in the last 4 years, I've never thrown any seed out of my in the dustbin. I save the seeds and try to plant them. So if I could request somebody to do anything about sustainability, whether it's a lemon, whether it's a mango, whether it is any fruit you have, just don't cut and throw away the seed. Try and plant them.
Wow. Coffee or green tea?
Coffee for sure.
Okay. Let's read.
Well,
So, friends, it was a lovely conversation having with Nishant Arora, and we wish him the best for his new life, new partner, and many more things to achieve. So, all the startup founders, watch this episode, get inspired from Nishant's journey, especially he's working for clean energy, then sustainability in construction, but there are corporate governance for startups, so many things he has gone through, and how to have a blend of international and local experience. So this is episode, and get inspired from Nishant's journey. So watch the episode like this. There are 450 coffee speakers who are sharing their insights, and the tribe is growing bigger and bigger. And if you want to be featured like Nishant, visit our website or LinkedIn page, the Emerging India Forum, or connect with our 450 speakers. They will put in a word to Team Coffee and invite you to have coffee conversations. So take care. Thank you.
thanks for having me.